What's up? You got your boy DyReck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. Cause today we're gonna be talking about the Korg D1600. What had happened was... Why the hell does my music not sound like the pros? This is crazy. I just made a slamming beat. Everything was perfect. My panning was immaculate. My fader movements were top notch. But when I finished the track for mastering, it just does not sound the same. It doesn't sound like the big boys. What's going on? Yes, folks, that was the dilemma of the home producer back in 1998. This was a time where pro studios were still in full effect, but the origins of the home producer started forming. With affordable hard disk recorders and samplers, it was now possible for the guy or gal at home to make pro quality, or at least CD quality, music. This was great. But the only thing is, when they compared it to the actual pro studios, I don't know, it wasn't so great anymore. Now you gotta remember, folks, this was the late 90s. We weren't into software and Pro Tools and all those DAWs yet. We were still recording on old school consoles, tape machines, hard disk recorders. Anything we could find to make our music, we were using. But there was only one problem. The home market sounded very different from the pro market. And I mean, kind of light years different from the pro market. It was a big difference. Now, don't get me wrong, you had some good recorders, like the Fostex DMT-8, which was the first multi-track digital portable recorder type machine. It gave you 8 tracks and 16-bit 44.1K CD quality sound. You had the Akai DPS-12, which had 12 channels, came with some good effects, and also came with an internally mounted iOmega Jazz drive. For those that use the Jazz drive. You also had the Roland VS840, which also gave you some good effects. It had a good EQ, and then you got a SCSI with it, a SCSI port. But even though these portable machines tried their best, they just fell short to sounding like professional gear. There was just something missing. It's kind of like buying gear on eBay. You know, you're so excited, you just found a great deal on a vintage Casio keyboard. Hits was created all over the place with this keyboard. Man, you can't wait for the UPS guy to stop by. You get the keyboard at home, rip open the box, pull the keyboard out, and what do you see? 4 keys missing. What? You know, you run to the ad again and you're like checking it out, I remember the guy said this thing was in mint condition. You call up the guy, you're like, hey man, what's going on? You sent me a keyboard with 4 keys missing. I thought it was in mint condition. He's like, no, what I said was that I added a CD from the group mint condition. Remember mint condition? That's how much something was missing in your music production. But in 2001, Korg was gonna fix all that with the release of the Korg D1600. You're getting 16 tracks! And for each of the 16 tracks, you're actually getting 8 virtual tracks for a total of up to 128 tracks! That's crazy! On the D1600, you're getting Korg's sonically renowned PACE sound engine, which stands for Pure Audio Sound Engine. This sound engine provides Korg's 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz high-quality recording that goes well beyond CD quality recording, fantastic. You're getting non-destructive, sophisticated editing, such as copy, paste, undo, punching in and out, swap, move, reverse, you name it. It comes with a 20 gig hard drive, but you can upgrade it to even a larger size hard drive if you desire. You're getting a high performance digital mixer section, which features a 24 channel, 8 bus digital mixer with 60 millimeter faders. Wow! You're getting 4 high quality XLR mic preamp jacks with 48 volt phantom power. What? You're getting 8 mono plus 4 stereo jacks, a serious EQ, mix automation, an incredible effects section, which gives you 98 different algorithms and 192 different preset programs. And ladies and gentlemen, with the Korg D1600, you're getting your own CD RW drive. Ladies and gentlemen, when Korg released the Korg D1600, a lot of folks purchased it. Think about it, this was one of the first times for the home producer that they can get their band together, hook up 4 microphones in the XLR jacks, and just start jamming. And not only that, using the built-in mixer, any of the settings that they did using the faders or the pan knobs, even if they went to another song and worked on something completely different, when they went back to the original song, all the settings were still there. The machine automatically takes a snapshot and pretty much recalls all the settings. Home producers were creating CD demos by the hundreds. I know what you're thinking. You're like, gee, DyReck, the Korg D1600 must have been the greatest digital mixer of all times, right? Well, not exactly. Even though this machine had some fantastic features, it did have some annoying limitations. Like, one of the limitations was it had no multi-track outputs. It only had the stereo outs and an auxiliary output, but you couldn't really multi-track all your inputs out. And also, it kind of had limited input and outputs, like they didn't really offer you an ADAT option. So once again, you were kind of restricted to just being in the box. You couldn't track out your 8 tracks to, let's say, a larger digital system to integrate all your sounds together. There were some other limitations, like the MIDI only allowed for sync or turning an effect on and off, or turning the foot switch on and off. You couldn't really use the faders and knobs to control another MIDI machine or have another MIDI machine control your faders and knobs. And as time went on, you noticed the CD backup mode was pretty slow. It wasn't really moving. It's kind of like, you ever walk to the local grocery store and notice the pigeons on the sidewalk? And they're just standing there even though you get pretty close to them. You know, when you was a kid, you used to run up to the pigeons and be like, ah, crazy pigeons, and they would all fly away. Now, if you go up to the pigeons and go, ah, crazy pigeons, they'll just look at you, give you a gangster look and tell you to move, to the point you're the one that's flying away. But as time went on, and technology kept advancing, a funny thing happened with the Korg D1600. Korg actually gave it updates. In fact, they gave the Korg D1600, the Korg D16, the Korg D1200, pretty much all their D-series mixers, they gave them updates. Some of the updates included importing and exporting WAV files to the CD recorder, or any recorder you connect via SCSI to the Korg D1600. And it was multi-track. So now you can multi-track out all your tracks onto the CD or an external hard drive and then hook it up to your computer to transfer the multi-tracks into your DAW or to any other system you were using. So it kind of made up for the Korg D1600 not having a multi-track analog outputs. You You also got MMC, MIDI machine control for the mixer parameters. So now the mixer's fader and pan knobs can control an external MIDI device's mixer and pan knobs. And an external MIDI device's faders and pan knobs can control the Korg D1600's faders and pan knobs. Great! And Korg also made it that you could write to the CDR or CDRW drive at 8x speed. So it was much faster than the original speed, as long as the CD recorder could handle 8x speed. Still, with all of these improvements, some folks still complained about the navigation, cause it did make it where now you were doing a lot of button pressing and extra menu diving. So it was sort of a give and a take. But musicians took. So when the Korg D1600 came out, it was about $2 grand. But it was worth every penny of it. You were getting so much features for the money that on other systems, those same features would cost you a fortune. Some interesting famous producers used the Korg D1600. Scott Woodruff from the reggae band Stick Figure said he used the D1600 around 2008 to record the group's first 2 albums. And he was able to make it a #1 on the reggae Billboard music charts. So yeah, folks, that's the Korg D1600. What had happened was... So this is your boy DyReck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. And I'm signing off.